Hi everyone, it's Aaron Hill here. I'm just back in the office. I've been for a walk and I've been thinking through a very specific problem. Now, I typically go for walks to think through different problems, business, property investment, personal problems, whatever it may be, just to help me articulate my thoughts around it and understand it in more detail. So that's what I've been doing, and I've been thinking about this problem for a while. And now, this specific problem is why is it so hard to build passive income effectively and grow our wealth, okay, through property investment? Now, it's not a problem that I have anymore, but it is a problem for our clients and property investors that I speak to every single day. And I've noticed patterns, okay, and this actually isn't just new investors or first time investors. This is experienced investors suffer from this problem as well. And I really wanted to explore it more and understand like why is that, and it's really has been on my mind. So I've kind of articulated it, and I want to just sort of talk this through in this video now for you guys. So yeah, why is it such a problem? Why is it so difficult, or why do we find it so difficult to build passive income through property investment? And now, typically, what I see and what I hear is that there's some external reason or factor why it's not happening for them, or why we can't achieve our goal. So, it's usually maybe it's the market, a number of reasons, right? It could be specific like interest rates, EPC changes or regulation, the government, right? All these, or the right strategy, all these different things, essentially just say, I can't achieve passive income because insert whatever external factor. And what I've noticed is it's actually not an external issue or an external problem. It's an internal one. And I'm going to explain in this video now why that is and why I've come to this conclusion. So, yeah, for me, it's not an external factor. It's not the market. It's not the interest rates. It's not the government. Okay. They are responsible for a lot of things, but it's not, in this instance, it's not the government. It's not the market. It's not your strategy that you're applying. Okay. It's an internal problem. And specifically, it's around your belief. And even more specifically, it's the judgments that we have based on that belief. So, what I've really looked into here is, I'm not going to go deep into beliefs, right? That's not for this video, but any belief on any kind of topic or domain is just a collection of experiences, right? With positive and negative experiences towards that domain, and then we have then actions and beliefs around that. So what it actually is, and what I'm seeing is that you'll have a number of negative, just think of them as two buckets, right? So a lot of negative impressions will fill the negative bucket on let's say property investment, for example, and believing that passive income is achievable and simple. Even you have these negative beliefs that come, or these negative impacts that affect that belief, right? So, and it's not always necessarily something that happens directly to you. It can be indirectly as well. So yes, there's some experienced investors that suffer from this, and they've had bad experiences. So maybe they tried a strategy and it didn't work, or they've just had a bad experience in some manner, and all that's doing is just filling up the bucket of negative experiences around achieving their goal. So what happens is they start to have this negative belief around it. And again, even if you're first time investor, you think, well, how can I have any real negative beliefs around something I haven't even done yet? But it can happen like, it doesn't have to be like a direct, it can be indirect. So, you might just know someone who's had a bad experience, or someone's told you a story, or you've watched the news and the media, right? It's like the worst place for negative information. So all that's doing is just filling your bucket with negative experiences around the thing, property investment. So you then naturally have this belief that it doesn't work for you. Like you've been hearing that interest rates are stopping people achieving their goals. The market's changing. I don't know, all these different rules and regulations. So all it does is keep filling up those negatives. So it's not necessarily happening to you, but your subconscious is taking these this negative information, and it is storing it, and it's building up this negative bias against the belief. So yeah, you end up in this place where you have this negative belief now, and you know, I don't want to, again, not into too deep on the beliefs, but you have this domain based belief, and then ultimately what it comes down to is a identity and action based belief. So you will now act in a certain way, and you will take actions in a certain way in accordance to that belief. And what happens there then is, if you have this negative bias to property investment through even direct or indirect experiences, it's going to affect your decisions forward. So, like, I literally hear people say to me that property investment doesn't work for them because interest rates, or because the taxes, get taxed too much, so therefore it just doesn't work for them. And that's them taking an action and saying, I'm not even going to try, because I know that taxes, with the taxes I get taxed, whatever, it doesn't work for me. Now, what we need to look at though is that belief we hold genuine, or is it giving us, or is it helping us in any way, or is it of value to us, or is it incorrect, and is it actually hindering us from achieving our goal? Now, like, because obviously there are a lot of beliefs that we have that support us in achieving our goal, or that are good for us. And like, I believe firmly that if I jump off a cliff, that I will not survive. So therefore I don't act in a way that makes me jump off a cliff, right? So that's the kind of a positive example of a positive belief, that helps me. Whereas if I have a negative belief around building passive income through property, like, it doesn't work because X, Y, Z, and then therefore I'm not going to take the actions required to actually build my net worth and my passive income. Now, what we need to do is look at it and say, is that belief true? And there's a way to actually break these beliefs down. And again, not into detail, but there's 5 key steps really, and we're already sort of touching on that first one about identifying what that belief is that you hold. Then we need to understand, like, why it's wrong, if it's even wrong, but why it's wrong. Then what's right, why that's right, and then we need evidence and some kind of proof really that this new belief is actually going to help us. And just to try and give it a very high level like example of this, if we were to look at property investment and all of the investors that invest in property, are there people out there making it work for them? So are there people that are building passive income, 50k, 100k passive income every single year? Are people's equity multiplying? Okay, investors becoming millionaires? Yes, that's happening. So we can look at the data and say, well, it's not an external problem then, because the system is the same for all of us. We all play the same rules, right? If it's a game of chess, we're all bound by those same rules. So if I'm playing a game of chess and I lose, it isn't the game's fault. It isn't the rules of chess, because the other player was playing the same against the same rules, right? They just made better moves, and so I lost. So I could either, that would obviously give me a negative experience in me, how good I am at chess. If I lost enough times, I would obviously have a massive bias against negative bias on my chess abilities. And then I would start probably just not playing chess, or maybe I start taking actions in accordance with the negative belief that I hold, and I would never get any better at chess. So that's exactly what we're trying to talk about here: is it the actual external market, or is it our beliefs around it that actually stop us taking the actions that we need to take to actually achieve the goal, to build passive income and to build our wealth? So that's really where I'm getting at with it. It's an internal problem. And yes, obviously there are many more steps to this. There is strategy, okay. There is network and all the other pieces of the puzzle that you need to actually build this wealth. But it really does come down to that first principles of before we even get started, of what is the belief that we currently have around property investment and around achieving the goal. And honestly, I can tell you, it becomes a lot easier once you understand that it is a belief, that it's an internal belief that we need to adjust to then actually achieve our goals. And you can brute force this. I've brute forced a lot of different things through my, battling my beliefs. And I can just tell you, it's a lot harder. You can do it, all right? It's like essentially your conscious against your subconscious mind, like battling. That's why you have all these fears, and these certain feelings around taking actions. And that's just because your subconscious belief is not in alignment with the actions that you want to take. So you want to build passive income, you want to invest in property, it works, you can see that people are winning in that game, and so therefore you can win too. But deep down, your subconscious belief around it is that it won't work for you because you've just had so many negative experiences to that fact. So the first thing we need to do is just adjust that belief, and it gets a lot easier if we can do that. So that's really where the problem is. It's an internal one. It starts with the belief. We need to really fix that before then we can start going on to the next steps. Actually understand, okay, well, what strategy is it? What actions am I going to take? And it gets so much clearer and so much easier to take those actions once we address that belief. So yeah, that's really the thought process I want to share, and I hope that's been helpful to at least some of you on this. Let me know in the comments of the video if it has, or you've got any other opinions on what I've just covered here. This is a relatively new channel, slightly different to our channel we had before, which was more client specific videos. So this is really designed to help those that want to build passive income and grow their wealth and just get more out of their life essentially through property investment and the way we do it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to start making more videos around this and different strategies and tools and what we can do to actually achieve the goals. And if you think that would be good for you, then please subscribe to the channel, and you can then obviously get all the information on the new videos. So yeah, I hope you liked it. If you did, please hit the like button as well. And yeah, I'll try and do a video every week. Hopefully on Mondays will be the plan. And yeah, I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.